Hey everybody. I'm going to turn my volume down. Hopefully you can't hear that echo. Let's see. Hold on one second. Hope you can hear me and you don't hear the echo. Hey do. I just wanted to hop on really quick, say hello. You usually don't see me, you usually see just my hands. So I just wanted to say hi. Hope everybody's doing good. Um, just so you know, free shipping today until midnight Utah time. And can you hear an echo? I have my mic turned off. Let's see. I was trying to get it to turn off. How about now? Nope, still hear it. I have no volume on either. Isn't that weird? I'll have to figure something out. But anyway, let me get rid of myself so you don't hear an echo. And oh, good, no echo. Awesome. So I just wanted to remind everybody that tonight is free shipping. Utah, midnight at Utah. If you place an order, you'll get free shipping on any order, $50 or more. Plus, I will send you this Pansy Petals tutorial bundle. It has 15 tutorials. And I'll also send you a swag bag. So lots of free gifts. And just as a reminder, my adhesive sale for the 40% off adhesives, that ends June 28th. I'll be sending the invoices out that day. And they have to be paid by the 1st of July. And then you'll get them as soon as I get them. I'll turn them around and send them out. So let's get started. I'm going to get rid of myself. Hey, everybody. I can't see your names. Let me get me out of here. Okay, there we go. So tonight, I had Peggy had asked me if I would do some cards using the hand penned bundle and the Encircled in Friendship bundle. The Encircled in Friendship has really awesome dies. I can't wait to use the rest of them. There's one, two, three. There's six actually in this set, and I did use both of these tonight. However, after I took the photos, you know me when it comes to my cards on Thursday. This is actually it's called a diamond. Hey Debbie, how are you? Um, a diamond easel card. This is what it looks like closed. This is what it looks like opened. And then it actually stands and hooks. I have it so it hooks in this little die right here. And it actually is a really pretty card. It's fun to make too. It's like putting a puzzle together. And you know me and my puzzle pieces on Thursdays. The only thing I don't really didn't care for after taking the picture is the front of this card is really, really busy. So I think what I'm going to do on tonight's card is change the stripes to the flowered DSP by just turning the piece over, because it's the opposite side of this layer. And the flowered layer, I'm actually going to turn it over, because if I just sneak this under here, I really do think that it'll look much better with the stripes behind the flower instead of this busy DSP. Thank you guys. All I'm seeing is Facebook user. StreamYard doesn't show me unless you sign in, sign in and give StreamYard permission. So just so you know, if I'm not answering you by name, it's because I see Facebook user, okay? And then for the box, I also ended up changing this up too, but it's actually an angle topped box. And I did change this up a little too to make it a little easier. So we'll get started with the card first. And I'm starting out with a piece that is 12 by 6. Now, if you don't have the 12 by 12 cardstock, what you would do is cut a piece that's 6.5 by 6 and a piece that is 6 by 6. And you would score it at the 1/2 inch mark and then adhere the two together. This way you would have your 6 by 6 for your card base. So for this one, I'm going to score it at the 6 inches, just like that. So like I said, 6 by 6.5. That doesn't look, oh no, that's right. And then you would adhere them together. So then this way you would have your 6 by 6. Now to get the shape of this card, I'm going to pull my scoreboard back in. Make sure I'm on so you can see. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our stylus and we're just going to put a mark, and you probably can't see it, but there's a little indent there at 3 inches. And then we're going to score this, score this at 3 inches. So now we have a mark at 3, our score line at 3, and then we are going to mark it at 3, mark it at 3, and then I'm going to turn it over and mark it at 3. Okay, so now we have our score line, which we're going to make sure I did this right. I'm going to fold it down. So let's just fix that for now. And then I'm going to pull out my trusty little cutter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up at this score mark, this little 3-inch mark that I have here, and the score line. And you're just going to line it up right at the edge of your blade so it's nice and straight. And we're going to cut off that corner. We're going to do the same thing on this side because we want that triangle on the front of the card. So we're going to put that square and get our diamond shape. So we're just going to, again, line this up and cut that off. We don't need these little pieces. Then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. We marked the 3-inch on these sides. Just going to make sure, yep. So we're going to line up our 3-inch mark on both the top and the bottom and cut that off. Turn it around and do it again. Okay, so now we have this funny looking shaped card. Now I'm going to take a piece, and this is crumb cake, by the way. I'm going to take, hey Fran, how are you? Then we're going to take a piece that is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and we are going to adhere it to this triangle right here. So I'm going to grab some glue, and we're just going to add the glue to this piece here. Got to make sure I keep myself on screen. You want to make sure you add enough glue, not so much that it squeezes out. And we're going to line this piece up on this diamond or the triangle. Going to make sure it is even. And it looks like it's pretty good. Okay, so there is that piece of the card. Now we have lots of layers. The front of the card, I added an extra layer actually to what I had originally seen. So I'm going to use a layer of early espresso, a layer of pool party, and then we're going to layer the striped piece just like this. Okay, so let's add some glue. I'm going to use glue so this way I have a few minutes or a few extra times in case I put it on wrong. I have to admit, this morning when I was doing the little gift box, the top I threw away twice. It was unsalvageable. Okay, so then I'm going to grab the pool party and we're going to add some glue to this. Now this is going to be one of those cards you would have to purchase or make a 6x6 envelope, and they are available, and it would be one of those cards that you would need extra postage. See, it's crooked. So you'll just have to, I mean, I'm not sure how much this would weigh, but I am sure at least between 2 and 3 stamps, because it's pretty heavy. Let's put it this way. Okay, so this is the hand-penned DSP that comes in the suite. Okay. So there's that layer. Now for the back, if you lift this up, it's a rectangle piece. And again, I'm going to use the early espresso. Now I'll have the PDF in the group tomorrow. But like I said, the early espresso was 4 1/4. The pool party was 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. And then the DSP is 4 by 4. Now for the front piece back here, this is 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. And then I have a pool party that's going to be 1/8 of an inch smaller, so 2 5/8. And I think this is 5 5/8. And then for this side, I am going to turn it over and use the flower part. It's like I said, I think it's just too busy and you really can't see the flower as much as I would have liked. Because you know me, I don't really like the white border around my images, but for this image, it's actually perfect. So we're going to layer these up, and let's see, so this one is 5.5 by 2.5, the DSP. And like I said, this time I am going to show the floral part. The only thing that will be a little strange is the direction of my stripes. If I would have thought about it before, I would have cut the DSP so the stripes were vertical. But that's okay. Let's see how it turns out. Okay. Let's just move this into place. I'm just, like I said, just layering all my layers. I wanted that extra layer of pool party in there to break up the browns. And then we're just going to take this piece and we are going to layer it right inside here. Make sure it's centered and on there straight. So I hope everybody's doing well. It's been a pretty busy week. Sorry I missed last week. Thanks for sharing. Hi, Montreal. We had our VA appointment last week. That's why I missed, excuse me, going live last week. It really wasn't a bad trip, but naturally it ended up, it's going to be more trips now that we went. I'm just cleaning up here a little bit. I've got a mess. You know, one trip always ends up into more trips. So just watch, because as the month goes on, hot and humid there, storms. Yeah, I'm hoping we don't have any. It's pretty cool here actually today. But watch for, I'm going to be on Saturday, I believe I'm going to start doing photo albums, and I'm going to do them from start to finish. So this coming Saturday, I'm going to create the binder and the spine of a photo album. And I'm going to do it, you know, bit by bit. The following week, following Saturday, we'll do the pages, and then the third Saturday we'll decorate. So if you're interested in learning how to make a photo album, keep an eye out and I will post all the information for you. Okay, so now we're going to jump inside the card. Let me just move this stamp. And again, we're using the early espresso, and we're using the pool party. And just like the front, I'm going to use the stripes inside. So I'm going to make sure that I keep my stripes going in the same direction. We don't really want it to look too crazy. Give it a little bit of uniformity on the inside too. So we're just going to, again, layer these together. Let me pick it up because I got to move it. And that's off. Okay. I'm just going to trim this edge a little bit. I laid it down and the glue dried before I could move it any further. So I'm just going to give that a little trim. And give this one a little tiny trim. Okay, that looks better. And then we're just going to layer this onto the early espresso. I'm going to make sure I put enough glue this time so I have a chance to move it if need be. I guess tonight is just like this morning. I couldn't cut a straight line again for some reason. Okay, so we're going to put this on so it's facing this way. Keep those stripes going in the same direction. Make sure. Okay, we're going to put it this way. Now these pieces are actually the same size as the front pieces. We're just matching the front. Now we have these triangles here. So working with the same layers. Hi everybody. This one is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And this one is 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. And I cut this one in half already, but this one should be 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. And I did that so I could match my stripes, but then I decided to change it. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to grab my cutter again. I should have left it out. We're just going to cut these squares completely in half. So you're going to line up your corners and cut. Let's just see. Pretty good. Same thing with this one. Line up your corners on the blade and cut. Now before we glue these together, I just want to check to make sure that when they lay on top of each other, I still have a border. And I'm just going to trim this one down just a hair, just so I have a little bit of an extra border. And that is actually a hair. So just a teeny tiny little bit. Let's check this one. Yep, I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to take off a little hair because it's probably not completely in half. So, okay, so let's layer these together. I have to say I have been every night before I go to bed, I've been saying I got to go outside and do my front garden because we've had so much rain that everything is overgrown and needs to be trimmed. And then every morning, and I need to be out there at least by 6:30 in the morning because there are no trees around and it gets really, really hot. And every morning I've been getting up and I have been procrastinating and I have not gotten out there yet this week. So what's going to happen? It's going to rain again and I'm going to have to wait till everything dries. It's terrible. I feel like I've been so lazy. Okay, so let me just check this to make sure these fit, and it does. So this is the DSP. Now, these little corners, we're going to put right here with the floral DSP. And let's see. see how we want these flowers. Let's try it this way. See how this looks? Okay, we'll go with that one. So let's add this DSP to the triangles, and then we can put it in place. So now do you see what I meant when I said all my puzzle pieces? It seems every Thursday. Thanks for sharing. Every Thursday, it seems like create something with a ton of pieces. I'm going to have to start thinking of something else. Okay, so I'm trying to just line this up a little bit so it's a little even with the top point of the diamond. And then we have an even space right here. Now we can glue this one on. And I don't know about you, but I think I do like the stripes. We'll be able to tell better once the image is on, but I think I like the stripes the way I did it this time. Not so busy. Just move this up a little bit. That's better. Okay, so now we can take this triangle. Hold on. I'm just going to let this dry and then get my eraser. Okay, so let's glue this in place. Just going to let that dry for a minute and grab my glue eraser. It seems like it never fails, right? Okay, so now that we have these in place, we're going to jump back while that's drying. I'm going to jump back to the front. Now I did cut out, this is from the Encircled in Beauty dies, and I didn't even take out these little centers. So give me a second here. Just move that over. They're actually very easy. They come out very easily. And this is the pool party. Piece of hair. I can't believe Iggy, my cat, is actually being quiet. He's been so lovable today, not letting me get anything accomplished. Always trying to get my attention. Now he's sleeping. He just loves this craft room. It's probably because my other 3 cats don't leave him alone. The other 3 are sisters, and then one of the sisters had a baby who was Hal, and so Iggy's like the odd man out. Poor little guy. Okay, so now that all those pieces are out, I am just going to take a couple dimensionals, make sure I do it on the wrong side, and we're going to pop this up onto the front of the card. Hey Pam, how are you? Okay, so we're just going to pop this in right to the center. Just make sure. I think it's up to. I'm going to just lift it up for a second. All right, that's okay. Let's see if I can get this glue out of here. These little erasers actually work pretty well. And if you do place a $50 order and take advantage of the free shipping, one of these erasers actually does come in the free swag bag that I will send you for your order. It's actually, the glue is still not dry all the way. Isn't that terrible? I'm going to have to cut a new piece and put it in there. Okay, so now let's get to the image. I'm going to grab a piece of basic white and my stamp. Now these stamps actually, this stamp's really nice. I'm going to use Memento for the image itself. Just going to ink this up and give it a good stamp. I actually should have used my foam pad, but that's okay. It came out pretty good. And then I'm going to grab it right now, for now, because while I have this like this, I'm going to grab my pool party and I'm going to grab some cinnamon cider. I'm actually going to grab a scrap piece of paper. Now we can either color these flowers in with blends, with watercolor, with the water brush, or you can use the stamps that come for filling these in. And I'm going to use the cinnamon cider, but I'm actually stamping off because I do not like how dark that is. And we are just going to stamp the inside of this flower. Now it's not a perfect coloring, but that's okay. Then we're going to grab the pool party. And is this the right one? No, it's not. And we're going to grab the stamp that goes to this flower here. And we're going to line it up. Make sure I have it in there right. And then we're going to stamp the top of the flower. Now my pool party is really juicy, so it's going to take a couple minutes for that to dry. Now for the stem, I am using assortment 2 of the watercolor pencils, and I'm using the blender brush. And all I'm going to do is I'm taking the darker green, which is the garden green, and I am going to color the base right here where the flower comes out. Where these lines are, I think the artist is showing some darkness and shadow. So I'm going to do it on this side too. I'm going to do it right here where these lines are, and then right here on this leaf. Then I'm going to take the Granny Apple Green, and for this one I'm going to go from the top. I'm going to leave white in the center. I'm going to go down the other side of the center of that leaf, and I'm going to take this out for now so I have a harder surface. And then on this side of this leaf, I'm going to go down part of the stem, and then I'm going to add this green on this side of the line and on this side of the line. Just adding a little bit of color. Now I'm going to take my blender, and I'm not going to go over the green that I just colored completely. I'm just going to catch the end of where I colored and bring it out into the white area. Now this one, I'm going to come down and blend that together there. And I'm going to do all the green first, the dark green, so I can clean the tip of my blend. But I'm just coming over the end and extending that color out, because I want it to be dark in some areas. So I'm just going over the end, extending it out to the end of that leaf. Same thing on each and every one. Going to catch the end and extend it all the way out to the edge of the leaf. I'm going to clean that off a little bit. Now we're going to do the other side. Same way. Just going to grab it. Let's go down the stem. On this side, we're just going to go over the edge of that granny apple, bring it all the way around. It's a quick and easy way to watercolor without pulling out your stamp pads. Just going to add a little bit of green right here. Thanks. I know that's you, Karen. You can go to my store by going to my blog, galfridaystamping.net, or you can go to JANEPROFFIT.stampingup.net. And I guess I could put it here. So it's JANE profit dot stamping up dot net. And Karen, I saw your order. I will get you that tutorial probably tomorrow. Okay, so now that it's all stamped and colored, I did do one before. Now you'll notice now that the ink has dried, it looks much better than when I did stamp it. So I have that all cut out. I'm just going to go back to the inside of this. Just give me 2 seconds. I want to cut another layer and cover this up. So it's 3 3/4. So give me 1 second. I just can't let that go. Okay. Now I'll feel better. We'll just put a new layer. I should have known better than to have my card laying out there. Okay, so this way I'll cover up this layer. Make sure it is right. Okay, so let's make some room here. All right, so now we're going to take this flower and we're going to pop it up right here on top of the card. And I think, like I said, now you want to make sure that your dimensionals catch the inside of this little circle. So we're just going to lay this down. I'm going to put it on a little bit of an angle. I'm just going to show you. See the difference? I mean, this does look pretty, but you can see regular or minis. Regular or mini what? Oh, you received the swag bag before you're stamping up order? Ah. Hey, Peggy. Okay. Let's grab some ribbon. I'm using the Pool Party sheer ribbon. We're going to add a bow to the front of this card. Grab my scissors. And we'll go through a quick bow. You're going to hold it between your thumb and your pointer. And we're going to take the tail. Let me just give it a quick little. Take the tail and you're going to wrap it around. Lift up your thumb. And then hold these two pieces together. Okay, it's the only time you want to lift that thumb up. Now you'll grab the tail, go between your fingers, just like this. I know this ribbon is probably hard to see. You want to make sure it stays straight. And then you're going to grab that tail and you're going to go under that piece and through your fingers. Okay, my hand is a little stiff here. So let me do that again. Through, under, and through. And then you're going to grab that tail on the other end. And then you're going to take it in this loop that we just created. You want to put that loop, that tail through that loop. And I cut the ribbon just a wee bit too short. So make sure when you cut your ribbon, you leave yourself enough to work with. And then you're going to pull that tail. And we're just going to make sure that that knot is nice and tight. Pull it off my finger. I'm just going to lay my little tails. I'm just going to make that tail just a little bit longer. And then we're just going to give it a trim. Grab a glue dot. And we're going to add this right about in the center. Just poof that up a little bit. Then I grab the, I guess it's Genial Gems. I'm just going to add a couple of these green ones. I'm going to put one, oops, I'm off the screen. One right here in the center of the flower. I put one here. And then I'm just going to, guess I got to pick it up. Add one right there. Okay, so there's the front of the card finished. We're almost done with the inside of the card. So let's open this up. And we have to take care of this back piece. And again, we have our layer of early espresso and our layer of Pool Party. Let's get these laid down. I don't want to mess up again, so let's get these down one by one here. And then our Pool Party. If you add enough glue, but not too much, it gives you a little tiny bit of wiggle room to get it into place. But you don't want to have butterfingers like I did and mess up. Okay, so now I'm going to pull the pad back in again. And this is going to be the spot that you write your little message. But what I want to do is using one of the flowers from the Encircled in Friendship, this one right here, we're going to stamp this right here in the corner so we don't leave this section of white empty. So let's just stamp this right here. And that looks pretty good. And we're going to grab our pencils again. I'm going to take this pad out. And I'm just going to add some color. And I'm just doing it randomly because the blend will push this color around. And then I'm grabbing Coastal Cabana. And for this one, I'm going to just do wherever there would be a shadow. And if you take my Patreon class, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I think this week we're going to do some fun techniques using the blends. And then we're just going to quick color this in. Spread that color around. Clean off the tip a little. This is the easiest way to watercolor. It gives you a nice colored image. And it's quick and easy. Okay, so now let's just grab our glue. Gotta clean off this tip. And then we're gonna glue this right into place. Make sure it's straight. Now we need something to let that top hook into. So using another one of the dies from the hand pen suite, I cut this one out in Pool Party, and I'm just taking the little pieces out. Sorry about that. One more right there. I'm going to add this to the bottom of the card like this. But before I do that, what I ended up doing, let me just grab it here. This little die is from the Encircled in Friendship. It's one of the tiny ones. And I'm actually going to stamp, believe it or not. Let me just make sure I have it the right way. You're the best. And we're going to stamp this. And I'm going to stand up so I don't make a disaster. We're just going to stamp this into the center. Not bad. And what I actually did was added just a bit of glue on the back. And I'm just going to lay this. Just want to make sure. Let me move this out of the way. I want to put this here. Just want to make sure that sentiment stays straight. And I actually just put some glue just so it would catch. And then I'm going to add some dimensionals, because I do want it to pop up, because I want that top of the card to have something to hold on to. So I'm just going to pop this up right here on the center of the card. And then just for a little bit of to add a little bit more that I didn't do on the other card, I'm just going to add some glue, and I'm just going to, actually, let's do it up here. I'm just going to glue that, add a little bit of green, because we don't really want to leave the top of this too plain. And let that dry. Clean the top of this glue. And then there we go. Our card will hook right into the top of this, either right before it or even in the little loop. And look, I have two little pieces right here that I forgot to get out. Let's see if I can grab them. There we go. Okay, so there's our card. Not bad. It only took 50 minutes, right? Long stinking card. This is definitely for someone who is really special in your life. And just for ha-has, let's just see how much it weighs. It weighs 1.5 ounces. So this would definitely probably be a 3 stamper. So just so you know. And let's just compare. Just by changing the DSP, look at the difference. Isn't that incredible? Thanks, Debbie. Hey, do. All right, now let's get to the box. Now the box I did change up a little bit. Again, here we go. Because when I did this box, I do like it. But the top of the box should actually be DSP. So it's not as heavy. Because you know, when you have, this is a double wall on each side, and then this has the tabs, and then the 2 walls, so it's really thick. So when I first made this box, 3 times, by the way, I just didn't like the way it laid out. So we're going to change it up a little bit. And I actually this time cut the pieces. They're both 6 by 3.5. And they're scored, I'm just going to show you quick, at 1 inch on every side. Now this is the bottom of the box. When I write this in the PDF so you don't get confused, what I did for the top is I didn't want a whole 1/8 of an inch difference from the top. So I took this piece of cardstock and laid it up against the wall, then took the top piece and then scored it at 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. So this piece acted as my shim, just so I have the width of the cardstock as a shim on each side. Now that'll give me just enough space so the top of this box will lay flat. Okay? So I don't, like I said, I don't want you to, when I write in that I used a shim, that is how I did it, okay? Okay, so we're just going to score and burnish. Just like that. Now that we have this piece, we're going to take our ruler and we're going to take our stylus and we're actually going to, line screen, at this intersection of score lines and then the score line right up here, we're going to line that up and we're going to score that just like that. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Line up the score line, and I'm using the smallest end of the stylus, and we're just going to draw a score line just like that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is grab those scissors. On this box, you want to make sure you cut the score line out. So we're going to cut these pieces out on this side. And then we're going to go to the right of the score line on this side. And you can tell, I think if you, Emma, you explain the share button. And now on the back side, if you look at the back side, you can tell whether you got all your score line off or not. So we're just going to take that out just like that. Okay, so now that we have this score line here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my cutter for this, because I probably won't be able to cut a straight line. So again, we're going to take this, let's get this out of the way, line up the ends where the score line is, make sure it's all cut out, turn it around, and we're going to do it again. You just want to make sure you don't cut something that's not supposed to be cut. Just move this over. We're going to cut it one more time. There we go. All right. So now we have our angle, just like this. Let's just square that off a little bit. Just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Now for this end, we're going to, again, you want to cut on the right hand side, and then we're going to tab this a little bit or put an angle cut on it, because this is our tab. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to tab, make an angle cut just like that. Get rid of these pieces. So now we have a piece that looks like this. Okay, so we're going to just lay that aside for a second. Now let's get to these ends. This is the bottom of the box, and we're going to do the same thing. We want to angle cut our tabs. And I'm just going to actually trim this just a bit. Just like that. Turn it around. Thanks, Stu. Just so everybody knows, Emma, the person I call Dew, is my daughter. And when she was born, the reason we call her Dew is because the nurse came in and took her birth certificate application before I had added a middle name. So I ended up started calling her Emma Dew, and then as the years went by, we dropped the Emma, and now I just call her Dew. The poor girl is in her 30s. Well, are you? How old are you, Dew? 88. And I still call her Do. So if you ever hear me say Do, that's my daughter. It's endearing and loving. It's not, I'm not being mean to her. I don't think I call her Emma ever. Maybe sometimes when we're on here, but most of the times, now I'm adding tear and tape, so these are our tabs to create the box, but I never call 33 tomorrow, that's right. Tomorrow is a really exciting day for us. Dew is having a baby, and we get to find out whether it's a boy or a girl tomorrow. So that's really exciting. It's the best name ever. Yeah, it's pretty well stuck with you, huh? Hasn't it? Okay, so now that we have all our tabs, let's see what I want to do here. Okay, so now this side, we're going to add some, tear and tape to these tabs. And you can see I used the cap to my glue to tear my tear and tape, because it's a nice straight edge. And I just want to trim these off a little bit before I add another one, because this is going to be the front edge of the box. Okay, so now we can just create this edge of the box. Make sure you line these edges up so they're nice and straight. Same thing on this side. Okay. Now this is the edge. This is going to be this edge here. But what I'm going to do is, let's see what I want to do here. We're actually going to, thank goodness I don't need tear and tape anymore. I just threw my cap right off the table. Let's just get this one side made for the bottom of the box. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece and we're going to put it right here just like that. Then this way the bottom of the box will have a nice hinge. So let's just, I guess I do need some tear and tape. We'll put it on this one. I'll use my nail. Let's just cut a piece just like that. Okay, get rid of some of this garbage. And we're just going to take these edges off because these are going to also hold that lid into place. So it'll be really secure. Okay, so this is the top of our box. And we're going to take this and lay it right there at the seam, just like that. And then we're going to take these insides and pull this up and then attach them just like that. And then you have a nice little box. Let me just grab my little pieces. I again have the I'm going to use the flowered piece of the DSP and just a little layer of the early espresso. And it's actually, the box is 1.5 by 4. Okay. So we're going to glue this down. So it's a little smaller than the original box I made, but this one was much easier. I will give you the measurements for this box also, but I would suggest that if you do make this one, the bigger one, to use DSP for the lid instead of cardstock. Because the cardstock, Stampin' Up! Cardstock is so thick and heavy. Okay, so we're just layering this on the top of the box because I wanted it to match. Thank you. Oh, aren't you sweet? I don't know who that Facebook user is, but whoever said I'm awesome, thank you so much. It's buffering a lot. It seems to be okay here. Okay, so I did die cut another flower. Let me just, I have it in a little basket here so everything doesn't get lost. And then I did cut out another one of the dies. I'm going to use some ribbon. Trying to be so efficient, but you know what happens sometimes. Okay, and let's pull out some. I'm just looking through my box here that I threw my pencils in. Put that on the floor for now. Okay, so we're going to, again, grab that You're the Best stamp. And we're going to stamp it right in the center of this little die cut. And we're going to actually pop this up. Let me grab a dimensional. Running late again tonight, right? No, not too bad. I'm just going to lay this just like that. I'm actually going to add some glue to this flower. I'm just going to tuck it under. And then we're going to add another bow. This time I'm going to make sure I cut enough. Create our bow. So now that I have enough, when you put this tail through that loop, make sure you stay to the right of that piece that comes through your fingers and then pull. See, when you use enough ribbon, it just makes it so much easier. But I have to admit, I just have this thing about wasting ribbon. I don't know what it is because I don't use it all the time. So now that the ribbon is done, I can trim my tails, but watch what happens. I'm going to trim these off. See, we're wasting all that ribbon. It's a pet peeve. Sorry. Craziness, right? And we're just going to add this right here to the top of the box. Grab one of our embellishments. Let's add it right here. And I don't think this is going to fit. I did have a hand lotion. I don't know if it's going to fit in this one. Let's see. Oh, it does. Look at that. So see, here's the difference in the sizes. So I'll give you the measurements for both boxes. So that's the difference in size. And that is tonight's projects. And here's our card. Here's the difference. And what I'll do is I'll take a picture of the cards from tonight and the box, and so we can compare them tomorrow when I post the PDF. So again, as a reminder, midnight tonight. Thanks, Debbie. Midnight tonight in Utah, the free shipping ends. If you make an order from my online store, janeprofit.stampinup.net, I will send you a free 15 card tutorial using the pansy petals. And I will also send you a swag bag that comes with ribbon, 24 sheets of 6x6 paper, a stamping dot, foam tape, craft eraser, tear and tape, and I know I'm not remembering something. And I will get that in the mail to you probably within the next couple of days. So thanks for joining me tonight. It's off the camera. There we go. Pretty neat card, huh? Thanks for joining. I hope you had a good time. Sorry it's so late again. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Karen. Even though your name isn't there, it says Facebook user. I know that's you, Karen. You're welcome, Debbie. I hope everybody has a great night. And again, Saturday, I'll post the details, but I'm going to start an album, either a photo album or like a junk journal album. And I'm going to create it from beginning to end. I already have my pieces started. And for the cover of this one, I am using retired designer series paper. Thank you. So if you want to catch up with me on Saturday, I'll see you there. Have a great night. Thanks for joining, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.